Hello and welcome. Today's project's all about 5 calming techniques to lessen your anxiety. If your anxiety is at a level 7, 8, 9, or 10, severe panic, you want to implement these strategies every day so that you can lessen your anxiety and become more in the present moment, because anxiety sufferers don't feel like themselves. They feel automated. They feel like they lost their sense of self. They don't even know who they are anymore. So in this video I want to talk about that, but also talk about 5 calming strategies that you need to implement to lessen that anxiety. Anxiety sufferers have their anxiety revved up every single day, even years even. And so their foot is all the way down on that gas pedal, but the car is in park. The car being their body, they're burning up resources like crazy, and thus that can lead to actual physical illness. And so that's a great reason to overcome anxiety. How do you overcome this chaos that you're stuck in, that it may seem like you're stuck in, but there are ways that you can get out of this? And this is my channel in a nutshell. How do you overcome anxiety? How do you put order to the chaos? How do you better yourself? How do you improve? How do you get to that ideal you? All right, so when somebody is going through severe anxiety, their life is in chaos, but they're also reliving a lot of trauma. And whether it's that panic attack, or whether it's that embarrassing moment, whether it's that abuse you got when you were a child, so many different things, a traumatic moment is something highly emotional to you. So for me, when I would get the sensation of panic, that would send me straight to panic mode, because I developed a fear of fear itself. So the sensations of fear, which are many different sensations, lightheadedness, dizziness, heart palpitations, racing heart, tingling in the hands and feet, the lump in the throat sensation, especially the lightheadedness, the dizziness, that really caught me. And the shallow breathing, as soon as I started feeling that shallow breathing, it would send me straight into panic mode. And so I developed this fear of fear itself. And when I would relive these past traumatic moments, what happens is I'm mostly engaged in my right hemisphere, the images. The images then lead to the emotions, the feelings, right? You relive those feelings. So when I had a panic attack when I was 10, and when later in my 20s, when I would encounter that same sensation when I was 10, it would immediately send me into panic mode. And I would be reliving the same event when I was 10. And when this happens, your left hemisphere, parts of your left hemisphere, they stop working, or they shut down. And so when they shut down, we can't process logical reason. We can't take in our outside experience and organize it into logical sequence. We can't do that anymore. We're just reliving the moment in our minds. We're picturing the moment, and thus triggering the feelings and the sensations. And so anxiety sufferers, they don't feel like themselves, and they don't feel safe in their own skin. And they're reliving those moments, but they don't have the logical reasoning to think themselves out of panic, because their amygdala, the part of their brain that initiates the fight, the flight, the freeze response, that takes over all other brain processes. Why? It's because it wants to keep you safe. It wants to respond right away to that perceived danger, rather than thinking about things logically. It wants to just respond quickly, get to it. It wants to keep you alive, because it's been doing that for over 200,000 years, right? So that's our biological system. It responds so quickly without our conscious awareness. So you can't really think your way out of panic, but you can't really think logically when you're in that fight, flight, or freeze response. So what can you do when your anxiety is high, when you can't even function properly? Because an anxiety sufferer, they are immediately aggressive towards other people or to things in their environment. They're immediately aggressive, or they can't sit still, they can't eat, they can't sleep, they can't sleep, they can't eat. They are in a state of dependency. They're dependent on external things to suppress the underlying challenges that anxiety sufferers need to confront. So they're dependent on family members, Dr. Google, they're dependent on their doctors, they're dependent on their safe zones because they feel comfortable in their safe zones, and they don't want to experience the triggers, right? The sensations when they're out in public, right? So what are 5 strategies to overcome anxiety, but not just to overcome it? I mean, just to lessen those feelings, lessen anxiety. Well, the first thing is take walks, because when your anxiety is active, when it's really strong, you have a lot of adrenaline, you have a lot of cortisol, and you should work with your body to burn off that excess energy. So you have a lot of excess energy, go out for walks, start, getting rid of that energy because it's built up in your body. So walks are really good, but it makes you mindful of your environment. And you want to get in touch with that logical brain, that left hemisphere, by paying attention to the trees. Oh, I like the color of those trees. Or I like the color of that person's shirt. Or I like the weather today. It's really nice. Or, I'm excited to have that bath later that evening. Whatever it is, go out, burn that excess energy. But while you do that, start accessing that left hemisphere by talking to yourself internally, getting in touch with the external environment rather than being so caught up with your anxiety sensations. Number 4 is surround yourself with your role model. Turn on that role model every day as much as you can. Surround yourself with that person, somebody who went through the same thing as you and has gotten better, but also somebody who's providing you with the right strategies and the right techniques for you to reach that higher you. And this is really important because part of the anxiety recovery process, a big chunk of it, is getting yourself knowledgeable what is going on internally. I have to figure out, what am I doing daily that's contributing to my anxiety? What do I have to do to overcome anxiety? What are the steps? What are the strategies? And then implement them. But it's important to just surround yourself with that person who's going to give you solid advice. You don't want to be on those forums where people just talk about their symptoms, but they don't provide strategies and techniques. You want to be subjected to somebody who's overcome it, because that's your goal, isn't it? Do you want to be that person 2 years, 3 years from now that still has anxiety? You're still burning up your internal resources and may even develop a serious physical illness, because most likely that will happen, because stress is really a killer. It really is. So only if it's been played out for a long period of time. You don't want that, do you? So implement the strategies. Have the drive to overcome the challenges you're currently facing. But step number 4, or calming technique number 4, is subject yourself to that person. Because when I was listening to somebody, a coach, mentor, who overcame anxiety, it made me feel better. It calmed my anxiety down, because it's like, oh, there's this person who went through the same thing I went through. He's relating to me, and I find it quite calming, because I get to learn at the same time, but I get to relate to this person. Really powerful. Number 3 is hot baths. And I had to put this in because I really love hot baths, and I really did a lot of hot baths when I was overcoming my anxiety in the evening, when after a long, stressful day, challenging myself, I put some Epsom salts in the bath. I have some candles going, and I will just relax for 20 minutes in the bath with no phone, by the way. No phone. If you have your phone in the bathroom while you have a bath, that's not good. You leave your technology away from you, because that's also a band-aid. A lot of people use their technology to distract themselves, just like television, right? And you'll see that all of these calming techniques are things that are away from the TV, away from certain distractions, and they're times with yourself. These are techniques where you spend time with yourself and away from those distractions. And you don't want to be in front of the TV all the time. You want to be more in tune with yourself. That's how anxiety sufferers come to be more in tune with who they are. That's why anxiety sufferers feel like they're not in control, that they don't even know who they are anymore. And so you have to spend that time with yourself to get back into your skin and to be safe in your own skin. And you have to become familiar with your own skin. Now, hot baths, really powerful. Have a beverage that you really enjoy. I have my tea back there, as you can see. I always have my calming tea, or that tea that is not coffee, by the way. If you're having a latte while you're sitting in bath, that's not a great idea to overcome anxiety. Having that frappuccino, not a good idea. That's just only going to fuel your anxiety. Number two, let me think. What did I put as number 2? I put breathing. Breathing is really powerful. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system. 4x4x4 breathing is universal for my clients who are going through anxiety. I recommend this technique, and they find it really useful. Breathe in for 4 seconds, pause for 4 seconds, and then exhale for that 4 seconds. And it starts to calm the body. Do this on your break when you're at work. Do this in the morning during your morning routine. Do this periodically throughout the day. Maybe you go for a washroom break at work and you're in the stall and you just do that breathing, and it calms down your sympathetic nervous system and it activates your rest and digest system. Really powerful. Then number 1 is meditate. And meditate also includes that breathing, but meditation also is that time with yourself in your safe area, in the area where you're not going to be distracted, and it gets you in tune with yourself. And I'm also going to be including a lot of meditations on my channel, like one-on-one meditations that are coming, so be on the lookout for that. Subscribe for that notification and for these videos, so that you can be up to date on the anxiety techniques and recovery techniques. Now, meditation, powerful. I do already have a lot of meditations already on my channel, so be sure to check those out. And I'll give you a bonus one. A bonus one is routine. Have a morning and night routine where there's no distractions, away from TV, away from your phone, stretching routine, a meditation routine, and a journal routine in the morning and at night. Make sure you don't have any stimuli 1 hour before bed. Have a calming tea, but also put the phone away. Also, spend time away from the TV. Just be with yourself. That's really important. That's what you want. Anxiety sufferers, like I've said a million times, they're not in tune with who they are. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel like they're healthy. They don't feel like they are comfortable with themselves, and then they need that distractions. They need that frappuccino. They need that TV. They need that video game. They need that drug. They need that alcohol. So be aware of those things, and then you become more aware of those things when you spend a lot more time with yourself. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be the first to know. Namaste.